Here we go. I'm so excited about today's podcast. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ethel Richards, and I am the Plant Based Nutritionista, here to inspire you to take your health back one meal at a time by eating more plants. As you know, my podcast, In the Kitchen with the Plant Based Nutritionista, is designed to build a community in health around each one of you by bringing you into my kitchen to hear some of the conversations that I have with my mentors, physicians, colleagues, professors, faith leaders, family, and friends. We address all domains of wellness, which not only includes nutritional health, but medical, financial, occupational, psychological, also known as mental health, spiritual, physical fitness, policy, and public health at large. You might be asking why? Well, because your health and your wellness are complex, and making decisions about your health and wellness is equally, if not more, complex. Through this podcast, I aim to inspire you and empower you with information to reclaim your health and well-being, one decision and one meal at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is without further ado that I have the esteemed privilege, honor, blessing, fill in the blank, to present to some and introduce to others my dear mentor and my dear friend, the Reverend Dr. Lorina Marshall-Blake. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you. I woke up this morning and I said, I will get to see Ethel, but really just to have can we talk? Just to have a conversation that really empowers all of your listeners or all of those who are on the podcast with us to have your best life, not just ordinary, but your best life and being the best you can be. So I just can't tell you how delighted I am that you gave me this opportunity, this privilege to share with you and to share with all the folks that come on the podcast with you. So I thank you for the opportunity to do this.
You are so welcome, and I'm just so glad that you can be here. It's just been an honor to know you over the years, and I want our listeners to hear just a little bit about who you are before we dive in today. And we'll put the full bio, I promise, guys, in the description, so you can go there and read all about the Reverend Dr. Lorina Marshall-Blake. And I'm sure if you Google her, you will find so many more amazing things about her. So she is the president of the Independence Blue Cross Foundation, which is located in my hometown, I believe our hometown, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where she is leading strategic, programmatic, and operational efforts to fulfill the foundation's mission to lead sustainable solutions that improve the health and wellness of the community. Listen, she's overseeing some grant-making work in excess of $115 million for the foundation. That's remarkable. And she's doing some great work as a collaborator, innovator, convener of diverse organizations, and thought leader in addressing emerging healthcare needs in southeastern Pennsylvania. Dr. Lorina Marshall-Blake is devoted to her church and community. That's a whole nother conversation. She's amazing when it comes to this, guys. She serves as an associate minister at Divine Memorial Baptist Church in Philadelphia, and she's affiliated with more than 30 professional and civic organizations, including the Anti-Defamation League and the United Negro College Fund. And we cannot leave this out. To all my AKAs out there, she is the 28th president of the Alpha Sorority Incorporated Omega Omega chapter, and she's been doing phenomenal work there as well. Not to mention, she's been recognized for her leadership in community service by diverse organizations such as the NAACP, Girl Scouts of Eastern Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia Tribune, and so much more. And today, we're actually honoring her as our living legacy. And we're going to tell you more about that towards the end. So we are so grateful to have her here in the kitchen with the Plant Based Nutritionista and partnering with iEatMorePlants. We're so excited. Welcome again. And I just want to lean into the power and the spirit of Women's History Month throughout our conversation today. But I thought it'd be really cool if we started our conversation with you just helping all of us really understand what this big word community really means.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that. There is a preacher, and her name is Reverend Audrey Bronson. And when she used to say community, or when I think of community, she has a saying, Lottie Dottie and everybody. All right. So again, when I think of community, it really is everybody. It's everybody that's in your sphere. Okay. And it's not even about span of control. It's those people, you know what, Ethel? It's those people that you meet along the journey. So you may not even be with them for a long time. You may be with them just for a season, but they become a part of your life. You and I have reconnected. We haven't seen each other in a while, but it was almost like we just turned the page and kept on going. It wasn't like, well, Ethel, why haven't you called me? Or Lorina, why didn't you get in touch? And again, as recent as a month ago, I was at an event talk about community where the young lady that was there, and I got to get your information. Her name is Tanisha. She's a scientist. And she said, and I don't know, I started talking. I just started talking. I said, do you know Ethel? She said, oh, yes, either y'all went to school together. That's community. So community is ever growing. I mean, and they're almost like ebbs and flows, but community are those people that touch your life. I mean, often I have wonderful sayings. One of them is touching lives, making ripples. And you know, the community has this ripple effect. When I think about how I grew up, and I thought of the village was my community. Okay. The village told on me every time I did something. Okay. And again, when I look at community, there's my community here at Independence Blue Cross. That's my work community. Then there's my biological family. That's my community. Then there's the extended family. That's my community. Then there's my church family. That's my community. And again, so community really is, I don't think you want to put it in a box. I think you want to expand it. Okay. So I may meet, you got me started now. I'm thinking about this morning when I was on my prayer call at 6 a.m., the focus was divine appointments. Today is a divine appointment. The fact that we're doing this is the appointment for the day. Even with my schedule, this is the interruption for the day. So, so again, it's like, okay, all right, Lord, so what's going to come out of this day? So I often say I have this pregnant anticipation. I'm not pregnant, but that's how I'm feeling, that, that this is not going to be just a good day. It's going to be a great day. But again, it's a great day to be in the community of faith or community of work or my own family. But community, it can be as wide or as narrow as you want it to be. But it really is everybody. As a matter of fact, I want to get this. I was thinking of this when I was talking to you. All right. One of the things, when I think of community, I'm in my office now. Community means that everybody matters. You matter. And everybody needs to know that. No matter where you are in the pendulum, you matter and you make a difference. So it's important to me that the community know that, guess what? Don't tell me you care, show me you care. All right. Wow. Does that help?
Listen, let me tell y'all something about Reverend Dr. Lorina Marshall-Blake. Okay. Anytime she's presenting or doing a presentation, she always has props and special effects. And I love that. And when you went to grab it, I was like, oh, I remember the last time we did a seminar. I had you come do a seminar. I love that because you do matter. And that's one of the messages that I like to share with people. You matter. Your community isn't just your neighborhood, isn't just your address. That's just one of them. But you joining this podcast is a community so that you can learn about ways to own your health, to ask powerful follow-up questions, to hold your care team accountable in very respectful and loving ways. But this is community. And that's the purpose of these conversations that we have in my kitchen.
It in the kitchen, okay? Because so many wonderful things happen in the kitchen, all right?
Yes.
it made me think of, again, the fun times in the kitchen with my mom. And I love to cook when I have time, but it's just that warm. And then I put my little, what is it? My aromatherapy on. So I'm smelling the wonderful aromatherapy while I'm cooking, making the collard greens and all the other stuff. But again, it's in the kitchen. Just wonderful smells and aromas and just warm feelings. Okay.
Yeah.
So I love the title of the podcast, In the Kitchen. Okay. So
Thank you.
Good things happen in the kitchen. All right.
Absolutely. And I tell you, I definitely prayed about what to even call this community. So you hit the nail on the head. That was a part of it, the warmth, just the welcoming. And typically when you go to someone's house, we congregate in the kitchen.
Yeah, you have conversation, and there's nothing like doing it over food. Yes. Food always works. I had some folks come out to the house for an interview they were doing about a week and a half ago. I made sure I had coffee, I had donuts, I had fruit, and they were like, "You didn't have to do that." Yes, I did. Because you came into my house, you came into my space, and again, as the keeper of that, it was that I should be hospitable. I mean, the hospitality is almost like a lost grace now, where people just don't go there. But no, you came. It's early in the morning. You probably haven't had time. They said, "We are so appreciative. You didn't have to do it, but I did." Okay, but I did, because it's not about Lorina. It's about how do those people that come in feel. I always tell people you have a beautiful house. No, I have a beautiful home. It's a home where people are welcome and always want to feel welcome. And again, that's community too. Okay.
Wow. So I want to skip past this one question I have at the top of my head and jump right into what, I'll ask it in twofold. So what are you currently doing? And then can we somehow segue that, and what is this whole concept of community engagement we keep hearing about from our public health officials?
Okay, what am I currently doing? It depends on what day of the week it is, but needless to say, as a matter of fact, we talked about the AKAs. They just left Philly, over 5,000 of them, for the North Atlantic Regional Conference. And when they came in, they focused, health was a key promoter with regard to that. And I was a corporate sponsor. So I was the CBO, the chief begging officer. So I got to raise money for it. So having said all that, when we go back to your question and what I'm working on, when I look at what I'm working on in the foundation, there are 4 pillars in the foundation. But at the heart of it all is access for everybody, and more importantly, for those underrepresented communities, folks that go back, that don't think that they matter or have a voice at the table. And I think about when I first asked to become the president of the foundation, and I said to someone, I got called up to the 45th floor, to the principal's office, as I called it. I said, what did I do now? Because I stay in trouble. I don't always ask for permission. I ask for forgiveness, okay? But that's how you get things done. But needless to say, went up there and I'm sitting before these 2 guys, the outgoing president and the incoming president. And I'm sitting, I said, "Oh Lord, what have I done?" And they said, "Lorina," and again, I praise God for it, "we'd like for you to be the president of the Independence Blue Cross Foundation." So I paused for a moment, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "Are you sure you have the right person?" And they both looked at me very quizzically and said, "Lorina, what does that mean?" I said, "Well, let me say this. If you just want a titular head, someone that looks like a Lorina Marshall-Blake that will be there and take orders, you got the wrong person. But because if you want me to do this, I want to be able to be at the table with those folks who don't have a voice." Okay, that people aren't listening to them. Okay, that in other words, because I'm a hometown kid, and I grew up on a little teeny tiny street, 600 block of North Udall Street, 4-room house. My parents were in 1 bedroom, and my 5 brothers and sisters, we were in the other. So I know what it is to again, we never lacked anything. I didn't know we were poor till someone told us that. I said, "Oh, really? Well, my parents are here. We got food on the table, all that other kind of good stuff." But getting back to it, so I said, if you want someone who's going to be honest, who's going to be direct, who's going to be the voice of the community, who's not going to exploit the community, then you got the right person. If not, I'll go back and do what I've been doing. I was a lobbyist. And they said, oh, no, we got the right person. So again, I was clear, and it was risky at best because they could have said, okay, fine, we're going to get somebody else. But praise God, they didn't. And it's now 11 years later and we went, and with that, they gave me $10 million to start the foundation. We are now a $115 million foundation. Okay. So again, focusing on the 4 areas. The first one is we support over 60 health centers throughout Montgomery, Bucks, Delaware, Chester, and Philadelphia County. And when I say support, we give them unrestricted dollars. We don't, only thing they can't spend it on are bricks and mortar, programmatically, staff, new programs, right? So they're the health centers. The next bucket is nursing for tomorrow. Nursing is key today. Nurses are on the forefront today. We do scholarships all the way from undergrad all the way up to doctoral programs. So, and really since 2000, from the time they gave me the dollars, we have done more than $12 million in scholarships to individuals for nursing. And we're probably, of all the Blue Cross plans, we do the most as far as anybody's concerned in the area of nursing. So, but not only nurses, the nurses, when we are undergraduate nurses, then go work in the health centers, they become interns, paid internships for the summer that we also do. So again, so making sure that that they continue to do what they do, but all the way from undergrad to doctoral. And we were the first to invest with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation over $500,000 with regard to doctoral programs, but we're still doing that. So again, but even more, I got to talk this one, but what I get really excited about is that we now have almost like a bridge program. We are doing a program with, first off, it started with Temple University, where I have 9 students that are in a cohort that we are funding them their whole 4 years. And see, so that they don't have to worry about boot camp. They don't have to worry about mentoring. They don't have to worry about pay, costs. I mean, costs have gone up. So we've made that commitment to them. But then it was getting so good, we said, okay, what else can we do with this program? So now we've got 14. Now with the school, we support all 22 nursing schools in the region, in our footprint, all of them. And what we've done, we've got a new program now where we're giving additional dollars to the schools on top of what we're giving them for students to fuel this pipeline because of the nursing shortage that's coming down the pipe. Okay, because the real issue right now, especially with the doctoral program, the nurse educators, they're not there. So there's nursing. So there's the health center, there's the nursing. Then we've got this program called STOP, Ethel, which is supporting treatment and overdose prevention, which talks about addiction. But what we've been able to do is change the narrative on addiction. So again, people call you junkie and all this. No, one of the guys put it like this. He said, Lorina, we are not bad people trying to be good. We're just sick people trying to get well. So looking at addiction as a disease, okay? So what we've done, have ambassadors, we've gone to Washington, we've gone to Harrisburg, we've gone to the National Constitution Center, we've done hearings, and the next phase of this, we're now on college campuses and with the organization Association of Recovery, where they work directly with these students. Because when I first did it, everybody said, oh no, we don't have an issue. Well, guess what? I got 14 schools now that say they do have an issue. So we're working with them so that, we can deal with that. Then when we move from there, one of the other programs that we're doing is with the Girard College. Now, I don't know how many people are with Stephen Girard. All right. Now at Girard College, we are working with CHOP and the faculty and the families, because Girard is a residential school that goes from K to 12. And it's Monday through Friday, then the kids go home. But 80% of those kids are either in trauma or have gone through trauma. And because of the intervention that we've been able to do with the Children's Hospital and working with the faculty and family, we were able to, it has come down to about 40%. And we were able to avoid 17, and this is the part that breaks my heart, 17 suicidal ideations. I can't imagine wanting to take my life, but that's what you're dealing with. So again, with that partnership with Albright College, and again, we're a grant making organization, so we continue to do that. And then we're over at, if you ever remember Misericordia Hospital, it's now called the campus at Cedar. And we are working along with them with, in the city of Philadelphia, there was no crisis center for either children, pediatric, or for adults. Because of funding and working with them, there now is one where people can go in crisis, okay? And so again, and then if that wasn't enough, we birthed last year a health institute, which is the research arm of the foundation. 3 focuses. The 3 focuses are digital, cultural competency, and maternal health. And the numbers on maternal health are absolutely outrageous. So as a result of that, we're funding, this is another good one. We are getting ready to, we're funding a birthing center, which will have doulas, okay, midwifery. Just so much great stuff. But you know what? It's all about being in the right place at the right time, and you know what, and hey, and going for it. All right. And I have a great team that works with me. Lorina does not do it by herself. So if we go back to community, this community of young people, millennials, and again, it's not even about gender and all that. Hey, can you do the job? Can you do the work? So all that works really well. So that's what I'm doing now, in addition to associate minister at Vine Memorial Baptist Church, where I have the missionaries, the women's ministry. I'm a Sunday school teacher. I preach in and I preach out. As a matter of fact, I teach Bible study. So that's the part that keeps me centered. So I don't forget not only who I am, but whose I am. So and then all the other organizations all those different organizations, so that they can connect. And that's the key. So when someone says, hey, Lorina, I need to do, not a problem. I don't have the answer, but I can connect you with the person. So really, I'm kind of a connector, and you call it convener. And how do we get these, even I call unholy alliances, people that don't want to sit with each other? You're going to say, if you want us to fund, guess what? You're going to be in the room. Okay. So that's kind of a quick nutshell of things that I'm doing, and then many other things, but that's what keeps me busy, and that's what keeps me up at night. But the key is, how do I often say I'm a mad woman, which means I'm a woman that's making a difference. And that's what I want to do. And when I think of my life, and I'm jumping ahead, I want people to say, hey, she made a difference. In other words, that poem, The Dash, what happened? Oh, no, I don't want to look back and not see somebody back there. One of my favorite quotes, I got another one, is the Michelle Obama quote, where Michelle says, you need to have 3 good friends. 1, you aspire to be like. 2, one who can check you. So I got a couple people that can get in my world, and I call them TP, trash pickers. They're all in my business, okay? And then 3, always, and I can't emphasize this enough, always pulling someone behind you, always, okay? Because you won't always be here. And that's the way I look at it. I won't always be here. So I got to do as much as I can for as many as I can while I can. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, all right? How's that?
Amen. Look, I'm like, where do I start, right? With the file? No, so I want people to know, I'm so glad you walked us through what you are currently doing, what's going on, the growth from the decision when you were called into the principal's office to where you are now, because so much, and I don't even remember honestly how we met. I've been trying to figure that out.
I know, it's so funny. But guess what? But we met.
We did.
That was our divine appointment one day, but we met. Mm-hmm.
We did. And we stayed in touch over the years. And one of the things, let me just tell people what I really love about when we first met. And you just handed me your cell phone number. You're not prideful. You're not too good. Like, I promise you. And I was like, did she really just give me her cell phone number? Yeah, call me anytime. And I'm like, everybody say that. Let me see, right? And literally, you're like, well, I'm home, but let's do this. Come down to IBX, and then you can walk with me to my next meeting, which was probably outside down the street at a cafe. And That was the time we had. And the relationship began to develop from there. And what I want people to know, why you're here today, why, my organization has chosen to honor you for Women's History Month is I see so much of myself in you. And as I reflected, I couldn't figure out, I was like, but what is it about Lorina that I keep coming back, essentially? And it's figuring out what my passion was, because that was the one thing you kept driving, like, Ethel, you got to figure out what you want to do. You can get a job, but is that what you really want to do?
Right.
And we had a lot of conversations around that. And I realized that whether I pursue my passion or purpose or not, every day I'm getting older. I will be 40 years old on Thursday.
Oh my.
So I said, literally the decisions I've made over the past few years have been, it's not like a fear of time, but I want to live my best life. Like you said, for as long as I can and do as much as I can while I can. And my mom says this quote, like, live as long as I can and die when I can't help it. I'm trying to die empty. And I have a hard time just sitting back with so much inside of me. So I want people to know, and I want people to see in you what a living legacy looks like. I want people to hear, like, you're still going. You're not stopping. You didn't even tell people you're back in school now either.
What, honey?
Yeah, I said you didn't tell people you're back in school taking classes too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
oh, girl, I was in class last night. Let me give you a quick story on that.
Yeah.
I had, with all the AKA stuff, and last week I had 3 speeches. I had to, in the middle of the AKA, Friday night, a car pick me up and take me to DC because I had to do a board retreat and board orientation for the advanced nursing, because one of my mentees had asked me to do it. I committed. So got there like 1 o'clock in the morning, got up the next morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock, did that. And then the car picked me back up at noon, got back to Philly in time for the plenary session for the AKAs and the gala. But the reason I mentioned that was that it was like, okay, how are we going to do this? All right. But we figured it out in such a way that we were able to get it done. And again, I think an important thing is when you give your word and say you're going to do something, you got to do it. And I was stretched, needless to say, but I was glad that I did it. All right. What was your question again? Was a point I was about to make.
Well, we were talking about how, basically how I'm living my purpose and I'm not allowing this societal stigma of age.
Yeah, no,
like, even when I met you, you were doing that master's.
We were talking about school.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what happened in class. I got my reading. When I got in Sunday night, I finished all my reading that I needed to do because we had to do a paper on what it was. Well, I was tired as I could be. I said, I can't write when I'm tired. So I got up early yesterday morning, started putting it together, typing it up. And then I said, you know what, Lorina, you're not going to finish this. So you just, ask for grace when you get to class. Well, we get in class. And I didn't get a chance to even ask the teacher anything. So everybody was making their presentation. I said, oh my, I said, I read the material so I can make the presentation. I just had to finish writing the paper. But again, it's like, what is it? Being ready to be ready. Last week I put my homework on top of the car. Okay, I got to tell you that story. And I came upstairs. I said, I thought I brought my work to school. I said, oh, well, I guess I left it home. So I drove all the way home and I get a call, Lorina, your book and your papers are all over the parking lot, all in the parking lot. I said, oh, great. My question was, is my yellow pad there? Because it had all my notes. They said, no yellow pad. I said, oh, Lord. I said, I can see me telling the professor now that, the dog ate my homework, or better yet, that it fell off the car. Let me tell you how good God is. And there's nobody but God. I went back. I was on my way back to go to school. I looked to my right. What was to my right on Benjamin Franklin Parkway? My yellow pad. See what I mean? But it's like, okay, Lord, I'm trusting you. I did my homework. So, we're going to get through this. And I think, again, it's funny. Tomorrow, I've got to preach for noonday. And I was going to do joy, but the word I'm going to do is like, Lord, I want to thank you. And that's what I mean. We just need to be thankful for everything that the Lord does for us. Okay. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay?
I love that. And that's just the beauty of this whole conversation is when you are walking in your purpose, and this is what Jamal and I talked about the last month. God literally gives you everything you need because all of heaven backs that up because that's what you were born to do.
Exactly.
And literally when I tell you, like, I didn't even know, okay, it might be a silly example, but I was like, I need to get my hair done. Seriously. Yeah. And I text Silas, who I lost track of when I got here. And what hair salon is open on Monday? 0.
No.
I text her and I was like, look, I'm in a tight. I lost your number. I found it. I hear you're doing, you have a new salon. Can you get me in tomorrow, Monday? She texted me back and was like, I'm normally closed Monday and Tuesday, but I'm going to open up just for you.
Gotcha.
I get there and the conversation that even she and I had was completely amazing. And I was just sitting there and all like, I'm walking in my purpose, and God wants me to look my best and be my best as I'm doing His work.
And and again, He'll open doors for you. And I on my wrist, I wear a bracelet that says that Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "For the Lord declares, I have a plan for your life, not to harm you, but to give you hope and a future." Doesn't get any better than that. And you know what? Man plans and God laughs. Okay. But it's okay. But he, he really does go before us. My joke is, I said, I'm going to keep the Lord in front, so I'm always bumping into him. I said, let me not get in front of him. Okay. Let him lead the way. Let him lead where I'm going. Okay. And I think, again, as we talk about leadership and but there's also fellowship. And I had to stop for a minute. I just sent someone a note this morning for the AKA stuff. We had a chairperson that I followed. It's okay. The role switch. You don't always have to be the one leading the band. Okay. All right. I can't hear you.
That's right. No, that's right. Yeah. No, I like to try to mute because, every time you want to record, they want to do landscaping.
I understand.
Trying to keep that on camera. But so what can we do? And I'm going to combine this question as community faith leaders, if you will, to support parishioners in leading and living their best lives from the inside out spiritually, as well as even nutritionally.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you went there. Okay. Because I have a meeting scheduled for next week, the 23rd, where we are getting ready. I put together a group of folks where we are going to be dealing with diabetes, which is attacking our community like it's just unbelievable. And so the American Diabetes Association is working with about 12 churches, and they've invited us to be a part of this. So we're going to sit down and put together, because I got one of the people on the that's part of the committee is one of our deacons, and Sam had his foot amputated due to diabetes. Okay, almost died. So nobody knows better than someone that has been through it. But he's got this great attitude. And, for me, attitude is everything. It's crucial. It's a choice. And if it's the right one, it's contagious. He is contagious. So, again, so with this diet, whether it's diabetes, whether it's hypertension, whether it's breast cancer, whether it's cancer, please. Unfortunately, we're number one in all those categories, which wears me out. I don't want to be number one in that. All right. So we're going to it's important that we take ownership for this temple. It's important that we think about what we put in it. It's important that we exercise. I woke up this morning at 5:45, 6 a.m. I was on the prayer call. By 6:30, that's that spiritual side, I was on the tread. And I was on the tread for 15 minutes, which for me is 1 mile. So I do 1 mile every day, and I don't know what 10 sit-ups do, but I do that too, okay? And I've got my Fitbit on my wrist, okay? So again, keeping track of my steps, but you have to take care of this body. And you know what? And I don't put my business out, but I'm gonna tell you, Ethel, this year, Lorina Marshall-Blake will be 73. Hello?
Oh.
In my case, I look good for 73.
You look great, Queen, for 73.
But it's because I'm taking care of this. So when the Lord comes for me, I can say, well, I did the best I could. And as my joke is, I look better with my clothes on. But but again, you've got to, you know what? You got to feed it. And one of my greatest challenges, you got to rest.
Yes.
Got to rest this body, okay? And you know what? You got to tell people sometime. My joke lately, when they ask me to do something and I'm not able to do it, I said, my cape is in the cleaners, okay?
There we go. I like that.
My cape is in the cleaners, so I can't do that. But how about if you talk to this person? I'm always about, pulling young folks behind me so that they can then step in. Because, you know, you're not going to be here forever. We got to build bench strength. That's so important. That's healthy. It's the same thing with church. I mean, you know, you can't get in a position and think you're going to be there forever. All right. So, you know, but again, it's taking care. It's what you eat. OK, instead of having that, although I love bacon, it's having that smoothie with spinach, with a banana, with orange juice, you know, with flaxweed and all that seed and all that other kind of stuff. And, you know, and that's, you got to build up this body. You can't just take it for granted that it's just going to do what it's going to do if you don't do anything with it. Okay. It's getting those vegetables. It's eating that fruit. It's, hey, maybe I will fast this day. Okay. Nobody likes chocolate candy more than I do. All right. But we'll do the dark chocolate, which is supposedly healthier. But again, it's creating a lifestyle for yourself that brings you joy, that doesn't stress you. Okay. Because we've got all these stresses, job, family, career, all those things. But at some point, you've got to find that quiet place. There's a thank you, God. There is a statement that I read, and it was called The Rhythm of Silence. Silence has a rhythm. And it's hard for us to just be, in that Psalm 46:10, where it says, be still and know that I am God. If you're not still, you won't get to know him. That spiritual side, that quiet side. And it doesn't mean, and I can't emphasize this enough, it's more than a feeling. It's just knowing that you know, as our grandparents would say, you know that you know that you know that it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Okay.
Absolutely. And that scripture came up yesterday, actually, when I was in my prayer time. I was like, I was like, just be still. I'm like, okay.
Be still. You know, we're so busy. The poor Lord, the Holy Spirit can't catch up with us because it's like we down on 52nd Street when we need to be over there on 50th. Okay. No.
And I think you bring up very valid points about what we put into the garden of our bodies. I like to tell people, you're going to buy it. You're going to buy, whether you buy now or buy later. You can buy now the organic options because people say it's too expensive. I can give you a whole spiel on how overrated that concept is.
Are you worth it? See, it goes back to you matter. Okay.
You do matter. And learning how to cook foods that actually serve you well. So either you can pay that prescription copay or the pharmaceutical bill or the surgical bill, and then it adds up. So I'd rather not spend $300,000 or more in case management. I'd rather, if that's what I'm going to put out, channel that money into things that, you know, bring me joy, take a vacation, go back to Africa where I just came from.
I just went to Paris. So exactly. Okay. So and I'm going to London in September, but you got to plan that stuff.
You do.
I'm looking for a quick trip right now. I need 4 days at the beach and a book, and that's all I want. Okay, so I'm on it. I haven't found it yet, but I just said today, I said I need to get away for a couple of days to do zero, to do nothing. Okay. No.
So the other cool thing I want to just slide in there for those who like bacon, you can do a version of that with eggplant. And what I'll do,
you know what? I love eggplant.
Yes, it's so good.
Love eggplant. Okay.
You can do a version of that with eggplant and still get your fix without eating a whole lot of oxidized and
all right, I know, but I had bacon yesterday, so I confess. Okay.
It's okay.
And for the week is over, okay?
So yes, that spiritual thing. The other thing I have a saying for is gut health plus movement equals mental health. He's talked about the spiritual piece, and I just feel it's so intertwined, interconnected. When I am not feeling my best, yes, I can still hear from God. Yes, I can still pray and all that, but it's not the same.
Nope.
Because the quality of my life is suffering. And as a child, I remember saying to my mom, looking around the church, I was like, and I was really livid, and you can read the whole story on my website, but I was like, well, I just barged into her room, which was a huge no-no back then. And I just protested. I said, Mom, God can't use you, beat up and broke down. And I wasn't talking about her. What I was talking about was I was so sick of hearing these testimonies about people asking for prayer for deliverance from things that they could do something about. Right. And she, corrected me like, well, he can. I said, yeah, but what about your quality of life? I mean, could you just do more if you didn't have to be on a cane? Could you just do more? And she was like, okay, I understand. Bring it down. But that 12-year-old me didn't even know what God was doing at that time.
Exactly.
Because my burden and my passion is for people of faith. And unfortunately, they're the ones that are so resistant.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, let me get something out my briefcase.
Yes, please go.
Okay, where's my bag? Every day. Every day. One is called the daily word. Okay, I get a word for every day. As a matter of fact, the word for today is, because I didn't get it, I brought it with me because usually I have done it by now, but I was running to a meeting for my boss. So today is Tuesday. The word for the day is free. In God, I am free. Now, can you get any better than that?
I love it.
And it talks about how sometimes we feel hemmed in by circumstances, my choices narrowed by factors and forces beyond my control. So again, there's some things we don't control, but realizing that you are free. You are free indeed, free in your mind, free in your body, free in your spirit. So you are free. And then the other one is called Mornings with Jesus. So those are two ones that I do every day, along with, I like Dr. Charles Stanley, and he has a devotional that I use. And then we are in the season of Lent right now. Mm-hmm. And I have a Lenten devotional. It's called Show Me the Way. So I'm always asking God, what's my next chapter? Show me. Okay. Because what is it? When it says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not on thy own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. That Proverbs 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I don't know what awaits me for the rest of this day, but I know he does. And hey, he's got big hands, and Lord, it's all in your hands. So I trust you. So I'm going to trust you. Yeah, so
well, that's awesome, and I appreciate that so much. And for our people of faith that are listening, think about that. When we approach our diets. And here's what I want to say, in all seriousness and sensitivity, is I recognize that most of us are doing what we know to do, and we are not as physically active as our parents' generation was. We don't do as much manual labor. The quality of food, we went from organic to using pesticides, and now we have ultra processed foods. So we're knowing what mama did, but we're not getting the same outcome because the quality of food was just different. Right. So I recognize that. So one of the aims I have is to actually share that message and teach, people of God, hey, you can still enjoy food and it can still have flavor, but you can do it in a way that adds value and longevity to your life. Versus subtract from it, and then you have the 12-year-old me like, screaming, but you ultimately you have to want it. And I go back to saying, start with your why. I don't know about you, but when I feel good, I'm at the spa like you.
Well, see, that's it.
Planes, going places, I'm living it up. But when I'm not feeling good,
right, exactly. But you know what? When you feel good, you look good. Okay, your whole attitude. It's almost like, here we go. I'm not gonna sing, but I think of Patti LaBelle's song. I'm feeling good from my head to my shoes. Know where I'm going and I know what to do. Ooh, ooh, I got a new attitude. But when she said somehow the wires got uncrossed, the tables were turned. I never knew I had a lesson to learn. Ooh, 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 I got a new attitude. But that's it. These wires get uncrossed when we don't take care of these bodies and we don't put the right things in them. I mean, you can have your collard greens, but don't put the pork in there. Get the turkey wings, okay? get something help. Put the fresh onion and the green peppers. You know, in other words, you can do it, but just alter it. Okay. Not saying you can't have it, but also realize, what is it? I always say God does not reward bad behavior, but guess what? Bad behavior is not rewarded. It will eventually take its toll, okay, on your body. It just will. So
yeah, there are natural laws. So that's what I tell them all the time. There's natural laws, and you know, how we treat our body will reveal itself.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So there's this term I'm going to use, and I don't. The term I want to use is unreachable. And I don't think this is the right term, but I'm going to use this term to kind of just grab everybody's attention. So how can we reach those society deems unreachable to see the value in eating more plants over processed food options? And I guess we have to define, if that's even a word we should be using, unreachable.
I don't, and you know what? Knowledge is power. So I think, again, it's not that they're unreachable, but at the particular point in their life, they just may not have the knowledge. I saw someone said something to me the other day, and that it is not about the finish, but it's about the journey. Okay. So being able to see, let's just say a Lorina Marshall-Blake, who grew up in West Philly, and those role models before you. I'm in Vine Memorial Baptist Church, and folks know that I exercise. They know what I eat. You know, I'm busy as a 1-hour paper hanger. But again, every year I do the commercials for heart. People keep thinking that breast cancer is the #1 killer of women. It's heart disease. So in other words, you got to take care of your heart. And again, I do the commercials for heart, breast cancer, and every opportunity I get, whether I'm being interviewed or whatever I'm doing, always make sure that I emphasize health, that I emphasize taking care of the temple, that I emphasize that, because if you don't take care of it, it will take care of you. It will take you out of here. We've got no guarantee, because we have youth, that we're going to be here. I mean, someone just recent, 48 years old, gone. Okay, so we don't have that guarantee. So it's important. I can't emphasize that enough, that you got to take care of you. And more important, you got to take ownership. I can't say, Ethel, I need you to do this for Lorina. No, Lorina needs to do it for Lorina. And then hopefully others will see it and then say, Lorina's got something going on there. She's 70 something, but she don't look it. Okay, she didn't even act like it. If anything, that people call me, I'm EB, the Energizer Bunny, all right? But again, it's because I love life. I love being alive. I love being involved. And again, that's an attitude. And you know what, Ethel, it doesn't mean every day is happy day. It doesn't mean that. But guess what? I choose joy. I take that. In other words, let me take hold of this, because what is it? Your attitude matches your altitude.
Yes.
Okay? And, you know, it doesn't mean I don't have days that I just say I don't have bad days. I just have days that are more challenging than others. Okay.
There you go. That's how my aunt speaks. She was like, no, I'm not going down the elevator. I'm taking the elevator to the first floor.
Thank you. Exactly. Exactly, baby. Exactly.
So this final question, I want to lead in with going back to why you're here today. So I would like to honor your living legacy as a woman of influence, inspiration, and impact, not just in Philadelphia, but in the United States. And I have a beautiful certificate that I'm going to put in the mail to you.
Thank you.
As for that, from iEatMorePlants, which is my company, where we live to inspire people to take their health back one meal at a time by eating more plants. So could you close us out by telling us what is your living legacy? And you probably have more than one area of passion, but I want to give flowers while they're living. What is your living legacy?
Okay, and it's funny as I think about it, there are a couple things. There's a book I want to mention. It's called What Keeps Me Standing. It's by Dennis Kimbrough, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. And in it are letters of inspiration and encouragement from African-American grandmothers. And you know, it doesn't get any better than that. And there's this one letter where the lady says, surviving is easy. It's the living that's difficult. And then the other letter that talks about let your life speak volumes. whether you're there or not. And your reputation should precede you. And let it be a good one. Let it be a good one. But again, when I think of legacy, I think of what I want to be most like, there is a poem, and I just by Alice Walker called Women. And she said, they were women then, my mama's generation, husky of voice and stout of step, walked through landmines, booby traps, head ragged generals to get books, ironed starch white shirts to get books, desks, even when they didn't know a page of themselves. They were women then. And there were women then. And Ethel, you and others, we are women now. And there is work to be done. It is yet day. But again, I believe if we join hands and we come together, especially going back to the Michelle Obama, pulling others behind us, then guess what? It will be a better world. And that if we invest in our children, what is it? I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. And that's it. And don't tell them, show them. Don't put down, a friend of mine had a poem years ago that says, I killed a child today, not in a usual way, not with a gun or a knife, but I ignored his life. Shame on us if we ignore those kids, that just because they don't look like us, heck, they don't talk like us, but guess what? They are us. So we've got to invest. So again, if I say nothing else, it's all about the children. We've got to make sure that they have a path to success that we had. Okay. It's almost like, what is it? Langston Hughes, life ain't been no crystals there. No, it's not going to be. But guess what? We have to reach down and reach up and bring them up so they have what they need. So that's where I'm at. Okay. How's that?
That is wonderful. And I'm not even going to add to that. You know how we don't come behind the preacher after they preach.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to add to that other than to say I agree. And I would love to see us invest more in our children.
Yes.
Not just money, but time.
Time. That's it. It's our time. They need our time. They need to see our faces. They need to know that we care.
Yeah.
That's what, and they need, and again, don't tell them, show them. Okay.
Show them. And we can show them even in the kitchen. Invite them into
there you go.
Show
them how to make cookies. Okay.
Invite them into the process, because really you're raising little adults, and this is where we learn this is our first lesson in nutrition, but in the kitchen with whomever. So
exactly. That's
our encouragement to you today. This has been a wonderful, candid conversation. I tell y'all, this is just how we go down. And if we didn't have time constraints today, I promise you, Lorina and I will be going and talking about talking for hours. But thank you so much for allowing this divine interruption today. Again, we're just happy to be able to honor your influence and give you your flowers while you are still with us. And thank you for inspiring me, for allowing me to even see myself in you. And I know that there's other women and men, boys and girls who perhaps feel the same. So thank you so much for your service to the Philadelphia community, for your service to Vine Memorial Baptist Church, to IBX Foundation, to my alma mater, Girard College. Thank you for that. I hadn't received an update.
I didn't realize I didn't realize that was your, maybe that's, and you know what? That's another conversation, because we're looking for people to bring on the board. So guess what? I didn't realize you went to Girard College.
Yes,
okay,
11 years.
All right. Okay. I got a job for you.
All right. Yes, you definitely know how to reach me, and I'm definitely, this is board season for me. I've been recruited, and I am excited to be able to serve in these capacities and give back. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And God bless you. And
bless you.
Thank you, Queen.
You have a marvelously wonderful day.
Thank you. You as well.
Okay.
Take care. Guys, thanks for joining In the Kitchen with the Plant Based Nutritionista. This is Ethel Richards, and you just heard from the Reverend Dr. Lorina Marshall-Blake. Have an amazing day.
Okay. You too, baby. Bye-bye.